Only 1 in 1,000 applicants ever straps into a 5th-gen fighter. Think about that for a second. By the time they do, they've already survived stress tests most of us don't even know exist. Challenges designed to push the absolute limits of human endurance and mental fortitude. It's not just about flying, it's about becoming something more. Ready to see what they never show the cameras? Because trust me, it's a whole different world. Intro, most people think fighter pilots are just the best stick and rudder jockeys on the planet, and sure, they are incredible aviators. But here's the truth. The stick is often the easy part. The real challenge, the truly hard part, is the stuff you can't see. It's the silent, relentless reprogramming of the human mind, sculpted so it can flip, roll, and kill at Mach 2 without so much as a flinch. We're talking about an internal transformation, a mental metamorphosis that allows them to process information and make decisions at speeds that would overwhelm the average person. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 3 hidden layers of this extraordinary training. We're going deep into the psychological conditioning that reshapes their very perception of reality, the classified simulators that are more advanced than anything you've imagined, and the covert syllabus that turns ordinary humans into sky warriors, capable of operating at the bleeding edge of technology and human performance. Forget the glossy brochures and the recruiter spin. We're getting down to the absolute nuts and bolts, the secret sauce they absolutely don't want you to know about. This isn't just about flying. It's about engineering the ultimate weapon system, the human being. Section 1. The Mind Forge. Every aspiring pilot. Every single one starts their journey not in a cockpit, but inside a nondescript beige building. It's tucked away at Randolph Air Force Base, and they've given it a fitting nickname, the Mind Forge. Step inside, and the atmosphere immediately tells you this isn't your typical classroom. The lights are kept deliberately low. Clocks are nowhere to be seen. Time itself becomes an irrelevant concept here. And the instructors? They wear no rank insignia. Why? Because inside these walls, hierarchy melts away. The only rank that matters is your mental resilience. The very first lesson, drilled into you from day one, is profoundly simple yet utterly transformative. Your brain is now the weapon system. Everything else, the jet, the missiles, the sensors, those are just extensions. They run something called the Warrior's Edge program. Now, if you just heard that name, you might think, oh, a self-help seminar, how nice. But that thought vanishes the moment you realize what the homework actually entails. Imagine this. You're strapped into a barber chair, heart sensors taped firmly to your chest while a strobe light flickers relentlessly at precisely 9 hertz. Why 9 hertz? Because that's the exact rhythm, the precise frequency that triggers seizures in untrained brains. It's designed to induce a primal sense of unease, a deep-seated physiological response. Your job, your only job, is to keep your heart rate under 100 beats per minute. Sounds simple, right? It's anything but. Fail, and you don't just get a slap on the wrist. You repeat the session every single morning at 0400 until you pass 3 consecutive times. This isn't about physical strength. It's about psychological flexibility and mastering your autonomic nervous system under extreme duress. It's about teaching your body to obey your mind even when every instinct screams otherwise. Then there's the self-talk. It's not just encouraged. It's scripted. You're handed a laminated card, almost like a prayer card, with phrases like, I own the jet. The jet doesn't own me. You repeat it out loud over and over, while an fMRI machine shows real-time blood flow inside your prefrontal cortex. This isn't some woo-woo affirmation. It's neuroscience in action. When activity in that crucial part of your brain drops, meaning you're zoning out, losing focus, a buzzer delivers a sharp shock to your left hand. It's immediate, unpleasant feedback. After just 2 weeks of this relentless conditioning, that phrase alone, I own the jet, triggers the exact same neural pattern as actual flight. What does that mean? It means confidence on demand. It means they've literally wired your brain to produce a state of peak performance just by thinking a specific thought. It's a profound example of mental toughness training, building resilience and psychological endurance. Visualization drills take this even further, pushing the boundaries of what your mind can perceive and control. Instructors make you walk a taped-out cockpit on the floor, eyes closed, mind fully engaged. They call out emergencies rapid fire, engine fire left 300 knots, 200 feet. You, eyes still closed, must touch the invisible throttle, lift an imaginary guard, twist it, and count to 3 Mississippi. Every motion, every single one, must finish within half a second. It has to be precise, immediate, and instinctive. Mess up even once and the entire class drops for push-ups while you watch. Talk about peer pressure being the ultimate accelerant. It's not just about learning the checklist. It's about embedding it so deeply into your muscle memory and cognitive functions that it becomes an automatic, flawless response, critical for survival. This fosters a growth mindset, where learning from every mistake, your own and others, is paramount. And then comes transcendental breathing. Now that sounds pretty zen, doesn't it? Like something you'd find in a yoga studio. But here the goal is anything but tranquil. The objective is to drop your resting heart rate by 10 beats in under 60 seconds, all while a centrifuge spins you to a crushing 9 Gs. The trick is something they call diaphragmatic recalibration. A 4-count inhale, hold for 7, exhale for 8. It's a controlled, deliberate process that leverages mindfulness and breathing exercises to regulate physiological responses under extreme stress. This technique is so incredibly effective that civilian airlines have actually licensed the protocol to help passengers with turbulence anxiety. Pilots with a knowing grin simply call it the silent seatbelt. It's a self-regulating mechanism for calm in chaos. By the time you graduate from the Mind Forge, your resting cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, are a staggering 30% lower than when you started. It's a measurable physiological change. Instructors often quip that the real test isn't whether you can handle the jet, but whether you can sit in rush hour traffic 2 years later and still feel that same ice water calm. It's a testament to the deep-seated psychological conditioning that transforms their internal landscape, making them masters of their own minds, even in the most mundane, frustrating situations. CTA. If you're finding value here, if this is blowing your mind even a little bit, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It tells the algorithm this topic actually matters. It keeps the channel in the air, no pun intended, and it ensures more people get to see this truly incredible stuff. The invisible playground, next stop on this journey into the unknown, the simulator bay. But this isn't just any simulator. This entire facility is buried 3 stories underground, a fortress of steel and concrete designed to be as secure as any classified installation. From the hallway, it looks less like a training center and more like a server farm, humming with the quiet thrum of immense computational power, cold and sterile. But inside each room a marvel awaits, a massive dome mounted on powerful hydraulic legs. This dome is matte black, utterly featureless with no windows, no mirrors, nothing to give you a sense of external reality. When the hatch seals, you're enveloped, immersed in a 360-degree projection of classified terrain, accurate down to a single meter of resolution. Every tree, every ripple in a river, every building, it's all there, perfectly rendered. Now older sims, the ones you might have heard about, they just replay canned scenarios. You fly a pre-programmed mission, you make your mistakes, you learn. But these new rigs, they're a different beast entirely. They run on adaptive AI, a truly intelligent system that learns your weaknesses, your tendencies, your blind spots in real time. Did you skip a visual check on the left wing during your last virtual sortie? Don't worry, the AI noticed. In your next sortie, it'll subtly spawn a microcrack in that exact spot, a flaw that will only fail if you forget that same critical check again. It's a relentless personalized tutor, exploiting your habits until they become perfect. And it gets even more intense. This AI also mimics adversary pilots, not just generically, but by scraping real dogfight telemetry. This means you could be facing the exact reflexes, the precise attack patterns, the unique decision-making style of a Sukhoi driver who flew over the South China Sea just last Tuesday. You're not fighting a generic program. You're fighting a digital ghost of a real, highly skilled opponent. This real-time adaptive training is what creates pilots capable of operating with greater autonomy, solving complex problems against peer adversaries. Impair most people's cognition. Ketones keep cognition smooth, sharp, and focused, even down to 75% oxygen saturation. And there's a side bonus, reduced appetite. This means pilots don't feel debilitating hunger pangs during 9-hour missions, allowing them to maintain focus without distraction. And finally, the G supplement. This isn't something you'll find on the vitamin shelf at your local store. It's a precisely measured microdose of creatine nitrate, mixed discreetly with pineapple juice. What does it do? It expands plasma volume just enough to allow the pilot to tolerate an extra 0.3 Gs before tunnel vision sets in. That seemingly small fraction of a G can be the difference between maintaining situational awareness and blacking out in a critical maneuver. It's technically legal under WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, but barely. Most Olympic athletes would literally kill for this formula, for any edge, no matter how slight. The Air Force, being the Air Force, patents these compounds faster than the public can even Google them, ensuring their proprietary advantage. It's an arms race at the cellular level, pushing the boundaries of human physiology. CTA-2, quick break from all this intensity. If you've ever wondered what it truly feels like to pull 9 Gs, or maybe you've experienced it in a sim, tell me in the comments. I read every single reply and I'll pin the best, most vivid description. Let's hear it. The failure loop. Here's the part that recruiters conveniently leave out of their polished presentations. It's a crucial, brutal truth. You don't just train to succeed. You train to fail and you learn to fail fast. Every Monday without fail, instructors screen a highlight reel that's affectionately, or perhaps terrifyingly, known as the Wall of Messed Up. It's a collection of grainy HUD footage, cockpit videos of students stalling on final approach, calling the wrong altitude in a high-stress scenario, almost having mid-air collisions. The names are pixelated, blurred out, but everyone knows exactly who's who. The humiliation isn't an accident. It's intentional. The Air Force discovered a profound truth. Pilots who see their own mistakes, their own failures broadcast in public, learn a staggering 40% faster than those who are debriefed behind closed doors. It's a powerful, if uncomfortable, accelerator for learning and a key component of building a growth mindset. They also employ something called red flag peer reviews. After each flight, the 4 members of the formation anonymously vote on who made the worst decision, who dropped the ball most significantly. If you get 3 or more votes, you don't just buy the squadron pizza, though you absolutely do that. You have to wear a bright orange vest emblazoned with the words "Lesson Learned." Sounds silly, right? A bit like a dunce cap for grown-ups. But here's the kicker. The vest is Velcro. Every patch, every call sign, every unit emblem from every pilot in the squadron sticks to it. Walk into the bar wearing that vest covered in the symbols of your peers and you'll never, ever forget the screw-up. It creates an intense social pressure, a communal accountability that burns the lesson into your memory more effectively than any lecture. It fosters humility and a relentless drive for improvement. But the failure loop isn't just about public shaming. It closes with genuine, empathetic mentorship. Each washout candidate, anyone who doesn't quite make the cut, is paired with a combat-seasoned pilot. But not just any pilot. They're paired with someone who's been broomed at least twice in their own career, someone who's made serious mistakes and come back from them. The message here is clear, powerful, and deeply human. Failure isn't destiny. It's data. It's a learning opportunity, a stepping stone, not a dead end. This mindset shift is precisely why the Air Force can take a kid fresh out of a Cessna and in just 18 months flat, turn them into an F-22 pilot. It's an accelerated learning system built on the very human experience of making mistakes and learning from them under the guidance of those who have walked that path before. Tech they won't demo. Let's talk about the gadgets, the truly cutting-edge tech they're experimenting with, the stuff they definitely won't demo at an air show. Ever heard of the Neuro helmet? On the outside, it looks just like a standard HGU-55 flight helmet, nothing out of the ordinary. But look closer, and you'll spot a paper-thin EEG strip subtly embedded inside the liner. This isn't for reading your thoughts. It's far more practical. It reads alpha wave dropout, the precise moment your brain is about to tunnel under extreme G load, when your cognitive functions start to narrow. When that alpha wave curve dips, a tiny vibrator inside the helmet buzzes softly behind your ear. Pilots are trained to associate that buzz, that subtle physical sensation, with the anti-G strain maneuver. After 200 repetitions, the buzz alone triggers the reflex even when they're relaxed. It's classical conditioning, pure Pavlov style, creating an instinctive, almost subconscious response that saves precious milliseconds in a life-or-death situation. It's about advanced cognitive skills becoming automatic. Next up, the phantom stick. In the simulator, engineers sometimes feed false control field to the pilot. Imagine the roll forces on the stick suddenly feeling heavier, more sluggish than they should. Why do they do this? To see if you notice, to see if you're flying by outside references, by what the jet is actually doing, or if you're just relying on muscle memory and the expected feel of the controls. Pass the test and you've proven you can adapt. That's vital, absolutely critical for when hydraulics fail and the controls revert to manual reversion. A state where flying feels like stirring cement, with all the grace of a brick. It forces pilots to be constantly aware, constantly adapting rather than relying on rote movements. Then there's the voice stress analyzer. Every single radio call a pilot makes, every word is scanned in real time for microtremors, subtle changes in pitch and cadence that betray panic, fear, or uncertainty. The squadron commander back at base sees a color-coded dashboard. Green means calm and collected. Yellow means spiking stress. Red means you're losing it. That first red light earns you a quiet chat. The second, that earns you a ride with the boss. Not a yelling match, not a dressing down, but a calm, deliberate flight where you're forced to describe every single thought aloud. It's called narrative flying, and it's designed to rebuild trust in your own head, to force you to articulate your decision-making process and regain composure under pressure. It's a psychological tool for self-awareness and control. And finally, the hacked Garmin. Pilots carry a seemingly civilian GPS watch, innocuous and ordinary, but it's been modified subtly to display encrypted coordinates and other classified information. If shot down, the watch face might look off to an untrained eye. But press the lower left button for 3 seconds, and it beams a burst text on 406 MHz with your precise location and an authentication code. Rescue teams get it faster than the old, slower beacon systems. Why hide it? Because enemies are always trying to clone these signals to create false beacons. Captured devices found in Syria already had counterfeit versions. It's an arms race, not just in the air, but at wrist level. A constant battle of technological one-upmanship. The final filter at the end of 52 grueling weeks, after all the mental reprogramming, the simulated dogfights, the physical conditioning, and the covert ops comes the final filter. It's not a flight. It's not another test in the sky. It's a board. A panel of 5 individuals, 3 seasoned colonels, sharp and unyielding, 1 clinical psychologist whose job is to see through any facade, and 1 adversary pilot from a foreign partner nation, there to provide a truly external, unbiased perspective. They have your entire training record laid out before them. Every heartbeat recorded in the mind forge, every syllable uttered on the radio, every single sim score, every failure, every triumph. You get exactly 10 minutes to explain why you deserve that coveted fighter pilot patch. Then, they ask the killer question, the one designed to cut through the bravado and reveal the true character of the individual. Describe the moment you thought about quitting. Answer too polished, too practiced, and you're out. It suggests you're hiding something, that you lack the self-awareness to admit vulnerability. Answer too raw, too emotional, and you're deferred. You need more seasoning, more time to integrate those experiences. The sweet spot, the perfect answer, is a crisp 90-second story that ends not with how tough you are, but with what you learned from that moment of doubt. It's about demonstrating a growth mindset, a capacity for introspection and resilience. One candidate last year, a quiet young man, brought a broken bolt with him. It was from his very first emergency, a component that had failed and almost cost him his aircraft. He'd kept it, had it fashioned into a simple key ring. He stood before the board and said it reminded him that even mangled metal can keep flying if it knows its purpose. The board quite literally clapped. He got his wings. It was a profound example of turning failure into data, of finding meaning in adversity. But the filter isn't finished once you step outside. You go to the waiting room and they vote. If even one member, just one, says no, you recycle. No explanations. No feedback. Just back to the beginning or out of the program entirely. That ambiguity is intentional. In combat, you'll make life or death decisions with partial data, with imperfect information, and with zero immediate feedback. Augmented reality overlays add yet another layer of immersion and instruction. Slip on a lightweight visor. It feels almost like a pair of sunglasses. And suddenly, every single switch in the cockpit that's in the wrong position for your current mission phase glows with a subtle guiding light. It's like having a digital co-pilot pointing out every micro-error. But here's the genius. Bump that visor up, and the real panel, the physical switches, immediately return to view. This ensures that while you're getting crucial real-time guidance, you're still training that vital muscle memory, the tactile feel of the physical cockpit. The first time you actually fly the real jet, every switch, every knob, every control feels like profound déjà vu. You've done it 1,000 times before, even though you haven't. This immersive environment, combining AR and VR, provides realistic visuals and haptic feedback, drastically improving situational awareness and decision-making. But the real secret, the truly revolutionary piece of tech, is something called the G-seat. It's not just a cushion, it's a marvel of engineering. Underneath that seemingly innocent seat are 128 ceramic pistons. These pistons don't just move. They fire in micro-sequences, creating incredibly subtle yet powerful sensations. They mimic buffet, the slight turbulence that shakes the aircraft. They replicate vibration, the low thrum of the engines. They can even simulate the flutter of turbulent air over the wings. And when you pull serious G's, say 4 G's, the seat itself squeezes your thighs with intense pressure. This isn't just uncomfortable. It's critical. It helps keep blood from pooling in your lower body, forcing it back up to your brain, preventing blackout. It's like a controlled chokehold that you, the pilot, learn to control with your core with your anti-G straining maneuver. Trainees do 20 reps of this every single day, without burning a single gallon of jet fuel. It's a physiological workout, a haptic training session that builds the endurance and reflexes needed for extreme flight. Is it a cost saver? Absolutely. 1 hour in an F-35A, a cutting-edge 5th-generation fighter, costs an eye-watering $42,000 in fuel and maintenance alone. 1 hour in this advanced dome, a comparatively paltry $2,300. The economic benefit is undeniable. But more importantly, far more importantly, you can crash. And crashing, truly crashing in a simulator, rewires the survival cortex faster and more effectively than any safety lecture, any textbook, any debrief could ever hope to. After a catastrophic virtual ejection, students are required to write a 1-page death letter to their future self. It's a visceral emotional exercise. Instructors archive these letters, and if the real day ever comes, if that pilot ever faces a genuine life or death emergency, that letter gets mailed. Morbid, maybe, effective. Ask the pilots who've walked away from real wrecks, who've described the scenario unfolding around them as feeling exactly like a rehearsal. These simulators build muscle memory and cognitive skills critical for survival and mission success by allowing repeated practice of emergency procedures, complex tactics, and high-stress decision-making. The black syllabus. Now we reach the layer that Google won't find. This is where things get truly secretive, truly covert. This is the black syllabus. It's not a static document. It's a living, breathing entity, updated every 72 hours with new tactics, new threats, new intelligence. It exists only on secure tablets, devices that are designed to self-wipe and erase all data if tampered with, leaving no trace behind. The topics covered here aren't found in any public defense journal. They are the bleeding edge of air combat. First up, ghost formation. Imagine flying in absolute electromagnetic silence. No radar emissions, no radio comms, nothing that an enemy sensor could pick up. You're using only passive infrared, sensing the heat signatures of your wingman to merge unseen into formation. It's about becoming a shadow, a whisper in the night sky. This is training for stealth operations where the goal is to be utterly undetectable. It requires an almost telepathic connection between pilots, a profound understanding of aerodynamics and sensor interpretation without the crutch of active emissions. Then there's cognitive warfare. This isn't about shooting down enemy jets. It's about detecting when your own helmet-mounted display, your primary source of critical information, is feeding you false symbology. It's about recognizing when an enemy has injected disinformation into your systems, trying to make you doubt your sensors, your instincts, your very reality. How do you train for that? It's about pattern recognition, critical thinking under pressure, and trusting your own judgment over seemingly authoritative but compromised data. This highlights the importance of advanced cognitive skills in modern network-centric combat. And finally, zero-option eject. This is the ultimate crucible of decision-making. You're faced with a jet that could still technically fly, but might explode in the next few seconds if you stay with it. You have under 400 milliseconds, less than half a second, to decide whether to punch out or ride it out. There's no right answer in the textbook. It's a judgment call made at the speed of thought, with your life hanging in the balance. It's about making peace with ambiguity and acting decisively with partial information, a core tenet of operating 5th-generation fighters. Each of these modules, these terrifying mental and physical challenges, culminates in a live fly exercise. These aren't daylight drills. They happen at night, over restricted ranges so vast they stretch for hundreds of miles. Civilian air traffic is rerouted for 200 nautical miles around these zones. Satellites go quiet on the pass, their sensors intentionally blinded. If you look up, you'll see absolutely nothing. The jets burn a proprietary fuel, a closely guarded secret that cuts their infrared signature by a staggering 70%. To the naked eye, it's just stars moving oddly, impossibly fast. This advanced tactical training, often undisclosed, ensures pilots are prepared for emerging threats without revealing sensitive capabilities to adversaries. The graduation capstone. The ultimate test is called Caelum Nemo, Latin for nobody in the sky. It's a four-ship formation that departs before dawn, climbing silently to 45,000 feet. Then they separate. Each pilot flies solo against a pair of AI-controlled aggressor drones, launched from a bomber flying 150 miles away. The rules are brutal. No data link, no AWACS support, no backup. Your only mission is to win, to get within missile parameters without being shot yourself. Last year, the success rate for the first attempt was a sobering 38%. The rest, they get another try in a month. Fail twice and you're reassigned to cargo aircraft. No shame in serving, of course, but also no fighter patch. Why is it so harsh? Why this relentless, unforgiving pressure? Because stealth versus stealth is the future of air combat. When both sides are invisible, when both aircraft melt away from radar and infrared, the jets become almost irrelevant. The human inside the carbon fiber shell becomes the single most critical variable. The black syllabus isn't just designed to teach. It's engineered to make that variable, that human, utterly lethal. It's about developing advanced cognitive skills and an accelerated learning capability to adapt to complex, ambiguous combat scenarios. The body hack. You can't talk about secrets in fighter pilot training without diving into the physiological hacks, the ways they push and optimize the human body itself. Everyone's heard of the anti-G straining maneuver, right? The classic advice: tighten your glutes, your quads, your abs. Exhale against a closed glottis to keep the blood in your brain and prevent G-lock, G-induced loss of consciousness. It's fundamental, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real trick, the truly revolutionary technique, is something called micro-cold exposure. Pilots spend a grueling 12 minutes a day submerged in 40 degrees water, up to their chest. It's a shock to the system, but it's incredibly effective. This controlled hypothermia spikes norepinephrine, a powerful neurotransmitter, by a staggering 200%. What does that do? It sharpens peripheral vision for hours, giving them an almost hawk-like awareness of their surroundings. This protocol, believe it or not, was actually copied from big-wave surfers who need absolute calm and heightened senses under chaotic, life-threatening conditions. It's a physiological adaptation designed to enhance performance, and then there's sleep. It's not just regulated. It's weaponized. In training, the lights-out schedule shifts by 90 minutes every 3 nights. Your circadian rhythm never ever locks in. It's a constant state of mild jet lag, designed to break your body's natural sleep patterns. The goal isn't to get perfect sleep. It's to operate at 90% capability on just 4 hours of broken, fragmented sleep. How do they achieve this? They handpick the chronotypes. Individuals who are genetically wired to be night owls but can flip to morning larks with zero cognitive drag. No mental fogginess whatsoever. Only about 1% of the population fits this incredibly rare profile. It's about optimizing human biology for extreme, irregular operational demands. Nutrition is another layer of this intricate physiological puzzle. Meals aren't just about calories. They're laced with ketone esters. Now, your brain typically prefers glucose for fuel, but ketones derived from fats burn slower and more efficiently under hypoxic conditions, situations where oxygen levels are low. At 25,000 feet, the oxygen saturation in your blood can drop to 85%, a level that would severely. The board mimics that uncertainty, that brutal reality. Survive it, and you're entrusted with $100 million of carbon and fire. You've proven you can handle the ultimate unknown conclusion. So what truly is behind secret fighter pilot training? It's not really the jets, as incredible as they are. It's not just the helmets or the spooky classified tech, though those play their part. At its core, it's the deliberate, painstaking sculpting of a mind. A mind that refuses to freeze, that refuses to panic, when the horizon tilts sideways, when the alarms scream, and when every instinct tells you to give up. It's the quiet, almost supernatural confidence to breathe once, twice, and then act decisively with precision and lethal intent. While the world collapses into a 60-degree slice of blue sky, every single secret we've uncovered today, from the relentless psychological conditioning of the mind forge to the adaptive AI-powered simulators of the invisible playground, to the covert tactics of the black syllabus, the extreme optimizations of the body hacks, and the brutal lessons of the failure loop, every single one serves a singular, unwavering purpose: to make the human the ultimate reliability in an equation where everything else, every piece of technology is ultimately built to break. The jet can fail, the systems can glitch, but the pilot must always perform. Next time you see a fast jet carve a hole in the heavens, leaving a contrail like a signature across the blue, remember the invisible scaffold underneath. Remember the thousands of hours of engineered stress, the profound self-doubt overcome, the relentless do-overs, and the sheer mental fortitude required. It's not just about cool sunglasses and G-forces. It's about the transformation of the human spirit. If this changed how you see the sky, how you perceive the incredible individuals who protect it, consider sharing it with someone who still thinks it's just about speed and bravado. Drop your questions below. I read every single reply and I'll do my best to answer them. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon and your mind sharper than the edges up there.